Here I'm making a batch of my own modeling chocolate, and then I'm going to let this cool overnight before using it for the next day. And I'm going to mix it with some white and green fondant to get that sort of mossy bark color that I'm looking for. Adding the modeling chocolate into the fondant allows for the material to dry out less quickly, which gives me more time to carve in all these grooves and details into the trunk of the tree. Zelda is my all-time favorite game series. Ever since I was little and would watch my dad play Link to the Past on Super Nintendo, to Christmas morning when my brother opened Ocarina of Time for the first time, and fast forwarding to when I was older and would play the games myself, taking turns with my younger sisters to play Wind Waker and Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, Hyrule has just always been a great land to escape to and an adventure in, and I love seeing the story reimagined every time a new game comes out. So the ornaments for the tree are actually going to be item icons from our inventory. I started with a lot of the items that you collect at the beginning of the game, and then moving on, we have to collect some rupees before we can get our little Deku shield. These here are made just from pouring isomalt into a little silicone mold of a rupee. I'm going to make them in several colors for the string lights later on. Here, we're carving in some details to our little Deku shield. For the buttercream pipe leaves, I decided to make them in 3 tones to add some sort of shading to the cake, so I thought that added a nice touch. Here, we're just going to start dropping in some buttercream leaves to cover the whole canopy of this tree. The majority of the items are made entirely out of fondant, but there are some pieces that are made either partially or entirely out of isomalt. So the bottles themselves are isomalt, and then the corks for the bottles are going to be fondant. Same with the lens of truth, the spiritual stones, the compass, etc. Those are going to be part isomalt and part fondant. I used to sculpt very often with polymer clay, and I found that skill translated very easily into using fondant, luckily. So I'm pretty comfortable making fondant pieces. Where I struggle and where I'm trying to grow is using other mediums like isomalt and sugar and chocolate and things like that. So these cakes are just meant to hone those skills. For the isomalt pieces that are 2 colors, I would make the first piece, then insert it into a larger mold, and then pour the second color around it. The red potion always makes me laugh because there's a quest in Majora's Mask where you're supposed to bring someone a red potion and they're lying on the floor like, oh, I'm dying, kind of. And then my sister accidentally clicked the wrong button and drank the potion right in front of this person. And then she had to redo the retrieval part of the quest all over again. But it always makes me laugh when I think about red potions now. Onto the namesake of our adventure, we're going to make a tiny little Ocarina of Time. This one I just made in blue fondant and then added our tiniest little Triforce, which I come back and give a little gold edible paint later. And then here we have our magic containers. I did 1 little one and 1 big one. For certain items that are repeated throughout the game, I may have just made 1 piece, but for something like the boots where there's 3 different kinds, I decided to include all of them since they all feature prominently in solving key temples in the game. Now that we have our rupees in several colors, we're going to start adding them to the tree along this little fondant wire to make them look like string lights. I tried to pick the sort of dark green color that you see on Christmas string lights often. These sage medallions were super fun to put together, and they really look nice after I add some shading later on. You'll see them in the final product. I love the look of this mask, but there is one item from the mask quest that I wish I had made and totally forgot. Can you think of which one it is? It was one of my favorite items in the game. I always thought it was super cute. So I didn't make every single item from the game. Were there any that I missed that you would have liked to see? And then here I just wanted to add silver and gold highlights with edible paint to any items that needed it, like the small key, the dungeon key, the hover boots, etc. Now this little gem was made of isomalt, which I just think made it look extra fun because it has a little shine to it. With all 3 spiritual stones in place, we can finally retrieve the Master Sword. I may have hinted up top that we have a very special cake topper, but it's not going to be the Master Sword, it's going to be the Triforce, obviously. So for the Triforce, I made it out of modeling chocolate. Since it's such a thin, tall item, I thought that would add extra stability when moving it around. And instead of using edible paint, I wanted the Triforce to be really gold and shiny, so I carefully added some gold leaf, some edible gold leaf, and this was an interesting part of the process, but it turned out pretty cute. Now we're towards the end game and our inventory is looking pretty well stocked, so I think it's time to start decorating. Now that all of our ornaments are finished, all that's left to do is hang them on the tree. I was pretty pleased that I didn't have any gaps in coverage on the tree, and I didn't even have to pull the trick where the back of the tree is a little lacking compared to the front of the tree. Nope, our beautiful Deku Christmas tree is fully decorated. And if you like this Zelda cake, I'll link another Zelda cake that I made below. It's not a video, but it turned out really cute. And here it is, our shiny Triforce tree topper to complete our Christmas themed Deku tree. But let's not forget Navi. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in seeing more cakes, please like and subscribe and hit that bell to see when I upload. My uploads are a little irregular, so that's the best way to be sure that you catch every video. This cake turned out as good or even better than I imagined. You know, sometimes you make a plan and things don't turn out, but this one, luckily, just came out so nicely, and I'm really pleased with the results. I feel a little bad because I said that my over the garden wall cake was my favorite cake, but it quickly got replaced by this one. Everything just turned out so wonderfully, and I love all the different textures and colors in this cake. So let me know what you think below, and let me know what Zelda cake or Zelda game I should base my next cake off of. Thanks so much for watching. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Bye!